Hi, Dad. Probably no clap this time.
Hello, friends. We're interrupting the normal album procession to address a rather grievous oversight. You see, in the 11 months I have been addressing the gaps in my music knowledge, I've looked at classic albums and new albums, at punk, alternative, and new wave, indie rock and grunge. I've done some R&B and some hip hop, K-pop, and glam rock, but I have not yet looked at even a single metal or hard rock album. And so, for the 5 Fridays in October, Friday is it? I will be addressing this omission, with much help from Eric Sanders. Thanks, the Larmas. Thanks to Eric's curation, I will be looking into 5 albums that run the gamut from thrash to industrial, prog metal to nu metal, to gent. We will eventually get back to Daft Punk and the normal proceedings in November, but October is Metal Month. And starting off Metal Month is Persistence of Time by Anthrax, one of thrash's big 4. And of the big 4, Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, and Anthrax, for those of you playing at home, all I need is Pantera for bingo! It's safe to say that Anthrax is the one I know the least about. I had a friend in high school, Scott Henderson, who used to quote the lyrics from I'm the Man all the time. And I know they did a collaboration thing with 80s or 90s hip hop. I think it was UTFO. And I think I know Scott Ian when I see him. And I think that might be the sum total of everything I know about Anthrax. So with your indulgence, I'm going to make a few assumptions based upon the other thrash I've heard so far. I'm guessing there might be a song or two in the key of E minor. I'm also guessing that the drummer will have more than one bass drum, or at least more than one bass drum pedal. The vocals won't be high and operatic, but not growly and broken glass Cookie Monster sounding either. And the guitar riffs will be dark, using all manner of dissonant intervals and chromatic runs, while the vocal melodies will be largely pentatonic. Nice job, Kreskin. Why not just predict that some of them are white guys with long hair while you're at it? Yeah, fair enough. You know what? Let's just say I know nothing about Anthrax whatsoever and spin the dang thing already.
I thought the album, it took me by surprise. I went into it thinking it was gonna be a lot heavier, kind of Cannibal Corpse-esque, kind of Cookie Monster voice, and was a little taken aback when that wasn't the case, but I'm also not super into like the hard rock, heavy metal, like all of their classic staples.
Dude, that's a lot of music for just 11 songs. And my initial thought was cross sevens right off the bat. Dun, 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 dun. That's Eric, all right. But after my first full listen, my thinking was, these songs are a lot more serious than I was expecting. I guess for whatever reason, in the back of my head, I was thinking that Anthrax was kind of goofy, with humorous or tongue-in-cheek elements to their music. Maybe there's some of that on their other albums, but there's certainly not much of it here. My first couple of listens went something like this. Song would be established, some riff with varying degrees of interestingness, arms folded, brows furrowed. But then about once every other song, there would be a moment, usually just after the guitar solo, in the interlude back to the chorus or to the next verse, where they would do something that would make me turn the volume up and say, "Whoa, what the hell was that?" Meaning that by the end of the album that first time, things were quite loud. And as usual, the track that immediately stood out to me was the one cover on the album, Got the Time, written by, of all people, Joe Jackson. It had a bass solo even. It's also the shortest song on the album. That's definitely unusual for me. I tend to like the long songs. Speaking of songwriting, looking at the credits, I noticed that the full band, Anthrax, gets songwriting credit for all of their original tunes. And that's a cool move, I think. Other standouts on the first listen, the intro to Gridlock was pretty insane. Same with the intro to Discharge. Those smoke. And Dan Spitz's playing on the solo for Keep It in the Family. Is that a slide or is that trim arm action? I couldn't tell after repeated listenings. Either way is wild. And that little instrumental tune, Intro to Reality, it reminds me a bit of a couple of Captain Beefheart's instrumentals, like A Carrot is as Close as a Rabbit Gets to a Diamond from Dock at the Radar Station. A little bit of harmonic normality for a couple minutes. Not every song held my attention this first listen. It certainly seemed to me as if there was some filler, but a lot of them did. But there's no denying the serious demeanor I'm hearing here, so I guess it's time to find out what they're so worked up about.
I think the most I can say about it, I mean, I was into it. This is something that freshman me would have really liked. Freshman in high school, not freshman in college. There were a couple songs. I think Keep It in the Family reminded me a little bit of Avenged Sevenfold. Might be a little bit of an abstract comparison.
You nonconformists. You nonconformists are all alike. If you were to look at the exact details found in the lyrics of these songs, you see them tackle things like racism, mental health, martyrdom, consumerism. But what I'm hearing is that these are actually just different targets of the same anger. And they're all treated pretty much identically. These very serious songs.
Why so serious?
These songs are all some version of, I'm pissed off because I see all this injustice, so I'm going to tell you how unjust it is and how pissed off I am. Then there will be a guitar solo that will melt your face a bit. Then I'll reiterate just how unjust it is. And between the righteous indignation songs, there are the existential songs. The life is an inevitable slide into decay and death which no force can stop kind of ditties. And it's absolutely fair to point out to me that in my past, I've had a ton of those feelings of righteous indignation. Though these days, I reserve my deepest scorn, not for the individual acts of injustice themselves, as heinous as they might be, but more for the societal forces and the institutions which allow for the injustices to persist. But that is absolutely as political as I'm willing to get on this channel, so don't ask me. I won't tell you. Bet you're a communist. The thing is, when I was in prime society sucks age, I had the good fortune to discover Robert Anton Wilson, Jello Biafra, and Bob Dobbs within a single calendar year. So thanks to the Illuminatus trilogy, Alternative Tentacles, and the Church of the Subgenius, a lot of that feeling became parody to me pretty quickly. So Anthrax, I feel you, things suck and people suck and you're angry. I get it. But I have to tell you, your music is a ton more engaging to me than your lyrics. Comparing the descending chromatic lines in Into My World to the descending chromatic lines in Dazed and Confused, that did more for me than the whole man, I'm already in jail thing. And also interestingly, as face melting as some of the solos are on this album, it always seemed to me to be the interludes after the solos that had the most profound effect on me. So this might be the rare case where the rhythm guitar stands out far more than the lead. Yeah, I think Scott Ian might be the hero of this album.
But overall, I think it's a good start to the month. Happy October, happy spooky month, and have a Marzi with me.